Hello, everybody. I am here to talk to you about something you've probably heard of before, but I'm going to point out some of my favorite things about gamification. What is gamification? Essentially, it's adding an element of competition to your learning. We could do anything from Scrabble. Got some Scrabble down here. Didn't even realize it wasn't English, but there's a funny little thing for you. Bingo, Jenga, etc. There's lots of other technologies out there, such as Kahoot, Quizlet, etc. We could even have video games or mobile games, something like Duolingo. My favorite aspect of this, and I will talk about this later, is writing a little story with problems to solve. Why are we doing gamification? Well, so we have it's engaging. We can learn through competition, the entertainment aspect. This again here is the flexibility part. There are so many different ways to add gaming competitive elements to your lessons. I think that the flexibility for gamification is a little underrated at this point. We can reinforce recall and quiz formats. You could even have your students create their own quizzes in Kahoot, something like ELA or world languages. This is a brilliant option. So this storied playthrough so you can create those real world scenarios, and then that's what becomes engaging, linking the learning to the real world. And I'll talk about that in a sec. So how do we do that? I've mentioned this here, these quizzes, Kahoot and Quizlet. You can get your students to create their own. It's a great way to do a formative assessment because obviously, so the quiz won't make sense if your students don't know their information. And then there's that challenge aspect. Who has the best questions? Are they going to stump people? So Scrabble, I mentioned that a little bit earlier. You've got, the simple hangman. You could even write up some Jeopardy questions on the board. You don't need a lot of materials. We're looking at other concepts, guessing concepts in science and math. You've got historic figures. There's, back to that flexibility. So I keep mentioning that story. That is what we're going to talk about next here. So there were two ideas that I've kind of mashed up. You've got a character that needs help or something like that with the correct answer that will progress the story. And you can do this in one sitting if you want. You can stretch this throughout the semester. I think that callback throughout the semester is the best, most interesting way. And then you don't need this guy anymore. We've all seen that joke, unless you want to make the 75 Banana Man take part in your program. But you can link, you can create a math equation how to get the person out of the well, and then you save them, and then they come back, and you actually have, I guess you could say, proof that what the student is learning is helpful. I'm a Spanish teaching major here, so you've got really focused on world languages, but you can do this through role play. You encounter strangers and they ask for directions, etc., and you can help them out, point them in the right direction, or you've created a couple different scenarios. Maybe you point them in the wrong direction and they come up next lesson and they're all mad at you, etc. The world's your oyster with this. This is why I think it's really interesting. You could even have a boss battle. This is where there's fantasy elements in here, which this is the reason I enjoy gaming myself personally, because you get to go somewhere that you normally wouldn't go. And I think that's the other engaging aspect of gamification. Disadvantages, obviously, this is going to be really time consuming. That story creation that I was talking about. Kahoot and Quizlet, you've got the common problem that students will name themselves whatever they want. So it might be it might be more difficult to do formative assessment. The main thing here is that your shyer students might not want to participate, although maybe you'll get somebody who actually enjoys being competitive. Yes, the most problematic are just, it might be a little bit easier to get off task and lose focus for some of your students, and then the other spectrum is you might not get some students participating. But I think it is more engaging than we let ourselves believe. Here we've got some UDL alignment. As I just mentioned previously, engagement. It's You can link content to real life, and then it's fun. Fun is always engaging. And then you throw those fantasy elements in there, and some other students might find that fun. You take a poll of the class, maybe we like space more than we like elves and orcs, and we make a story in that direction. Um, because of that flexibility, there's a lot of different representation going on. Yeah, multiple means through all the different types of games that there are. You can have kids moving around with Jenga or alternate hot seat. That'll get that shyer person talking. Lots of different multiple means here of representation, action and expression. So this is quite similar. You get kids moving around if you want in some of your games. But yeah, that competition allows students that time to express themselves. And that's why, going back to this off task thing, I think as long as your students are having fun, it might look like off task at first, but you can tell that there's learning going on. And I think that's this expression there. Some kids are just more expressive than others. Excellent. That was everything. Thanks so much, folks.